Welcome back to Talk with TQ. I'm so happy when you come to the show. Seriously, I really am. This is the best job. It really is. I love it because I get to interview the most interesting people on the planet. So, today's another show, and my guest today is Dr. Norma Uranga. Did I pronounce your name right?
Uranga.
Uranga.
Yeah.
And Dr. Norma Uranga is actually a life coach, and she also uses hypnosis as part of her practice. I found that very intriguing. I found her on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Sure.
I'm very fascinated by what you do, and the hypnosis aspect to your life coaching, it sort of, in my mind, sort of brings to mind the law of attraction, but you tell me about it.
No, it brings quite a few things, and my practice is truly integrated.
Okay.
In every which way.
Right.
My background is education.
Yes.
So I include the laws of learning.
Okay.
I include law of attraction. I include mindful meditation.
Oh, I like that.
And of course, my hypnosis as well as my life coaching is integrated completely. Mm-hmm. And the reason that I do that is because there are no two people alike.
Yes.
And I need to tailor the treatment to what the person brings me.
Yeah.
And we are physical, we're spiritual, and we're mind. Mm-hmm. So those areas have to be addressed.
Yeah.
And they are addressed by the practitioner knowing, her feels. Mm-hmm. And I say feels.
Right, plural. So how do you make your assessments of the people that come to take upon your services?
Well, my first question to the person is, what do you want to change in your life? And I take it from there. Most of the times people will give me a list. But a list is too much to handle. Mm-hmm. And what happens with a list is that you get lost because you get sidetracked.
Yes.
So I have to keep the client very focused.
Yes.
I have to make sure that I ask the right questions so that I get the right answers. Mm-hmm. For example, if a person is telling me about anxiety, right, that person is feeling at any given situation, I would narrow it down as to how, when, and where, and who, and right, with who. Mm-hmm. And then I just take it from there. I assess the situation in terms of trying to really get all this pre-talk out of the way. Right. The pre-talk is what gives me all my clues.
Okay, so that's how you're actually doing your assessment.
Absolutely.
You're reading between the lines.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I keep the client focused. I need to. And I also tell them that if I see that they're going off the track, yeah, I will bring them back.
What kind of people actually come to you?
Oh, I have a variety, okay? I can think of one very young lady, very pretty young lady, who was choosing bad mates, okay, for relationships, yeah, for her relationships. And that really was not good for her self-esteem.
Yeah, I guess not.
No,
right.
No. So that's just one person. Mm-hmm. Another person came in because she had all this chatter in her mind going on at all parts of the day. Mm-hmm. And the chatter was not nice. Okay. The chatter would, bring her down. Okay. And the chatter would bring her back to her childhood. Oh. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And then I had another gentleman who came in for weight loss.
Okay. I imagine a lot of people do that these days.
Yes, yes.
The subject always comes up.
And stress always comes up.
Oh, yes, of course.
Stress always comes up. And, stress is really part of quite a few things that are going on, yeah, okay? But the idea is, this, I might say, let's try some affirmations. Mm-hmm. And affirmations, of course, will sort of like create a new thought pattern in your mind. Yeah. Now, in my field, and I always said that, I cannot see a practitioner without the knowledge of how our most amazing organ works, and that organ is the brain.
Yeah, okay.
Everything stems from there.
Right.
And there's so many people that can be helped.
Do you ever have people come to you, students come to you to help them concentrate better on their studies, or if they graduated, to help them make decisions about their life?
Absolutely. Career changes,
Oh,
or identifying their career,
right, okay.
or identifying where their passion is.
Right, okay.
And that's very important because I myself, was an educator, and I worked as an educator in urban school districts, and I had to deal with communities. I had to deal with teachers and students and parents, and it was in the trenches.
Yeah.
Actually, I was in the trenches, and I really got a good start on my life coaching and hypnosis way back then.
Okay.
So we're talking about 25 years ago.
What 25 years ago, that's quite a while. That's 2.5 decades.
Yeah,
That is
25
long.
years ago is when I started my educational career.
Okay.
I started with my life coaching hypnosis career 6 years ago. So it was a takeoff, and I consider it a takeoff, and that has given me tools, invaluable tools.
What kind of changes have you seen in your clients?
Well, I had a report that the affirmations were doing terrific stuff to them. This particular client worked in the city, and with everything that's going on in the subways, she was very apprehensive about walking through tunnels and walking through, the trains connecting each other.
Yeah.
And she really, was looking like this all around. And once we were able to control the thoughts that were taking really control, and were then and then she was coming up with fear, anxiety, and so forth. She told me that the affirmations worked very well. The thoughts are really the seed of our emotions.
Yeah, yeah.
So whatever you think, it's going to come out.
That's right. It's true. That's true.
either in emotion or in behavior.
Right. Do you work with children?
I have not started working with children, but it is a growing field.
Right.
And it has begun. And as a matter of fact, I'm looking into that as well, but I haven't begun working with children.
Yeah, it sounds like it might be interesting to work with a child with like a clean slate mind.
Right,
You know?
right, exactly. Well, I do volunteer work in a daycare,
Oh, that's very good.
and I work with 4 and 5 year olds.
Oh, so you are working with kids in a sense. You're just not being paid for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not.
just- you're
Yeah,
just
no,
being generous in
I'm not.
spirit.
And it's so fulfilling. I really love
I can
it.
imagine. Now, what made you decide to bring the hypnosis in? I've experienced hypnosis.
Oh, you have.
I have experienced it in a positive way to change certain habits of mine
Right,
that I had
right.
decades ago.
Right.
And I have to say, it was very effective. I know, and I get your take on this, I understand that it's about changing the brain waves to the
Yes.
theta waves.
Yes.
Now, explain to me and to the audience why the theta waves are so important.
Well, there are 4 different kinds of waves, okay? And depending on our state, that's the wave that we're in. For example, if we go to a movie
Right.
and become completely engrossed, okay,
Yeah.
we are no longer in the beta wave, which is the doing wave.
Right, okay.
When you're sitting right here interviewing me, you're doing,
I'm
and
in
that
the
would
beta
be
wave.
beta. However, there are other waves which are waves that are ideal for the practitioner, for the hypnotist, accessing the subconscious mind of the client. And that's where you want to go, because you see, the minute that you leave the logical frontal part of your brain in check meaning making decisions, analyzing, criticizing, judging, you will never get to your subconscious mind. And that's where really where the your issues are.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and so you're able to take someone, I guess, through a process.
Exactly. Exactly.
And get them to relax enough.
Exactly.
To
Exactly.
open up.
Right. And immediately when I do that, then the brain wave changes, you see.
Oh. How can you tell that it's actually happening? I know what it feels like because I've been there.
The breathing gets deeper, and the blinking gets very slower.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes there's even some kind of a manifestation on the lip area.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They'll actually start to...
Yeah, yes, exactly. But my process is really a total relaxation.
Right.
And then after the relaxation, then I really get into the issue, but I do not get into the issues straight as if I was trying to win an argument with you. Once you get into the subconscious mind, and you're out of the logic, you're out of the criticizing, you're out of the judgment, then you work with your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind deals with your imagination.
Okay.
And therefore you bring in metaphors. Metaphors present stories, which the stories are weaved into the issues that you have. Okay, but they're not outright.
Right.
It's done subconsciously. If you do not access the subconscious mind, you will not be able to help the client.
Right. So you have to bring the client into a trance.
Exactly.
Now I can say, I'll tell the audience, I've experienced hypnotherapy, and I often found, well, the hypnotherapist said that I go into trance really fast. Do you find some people are just more susceptible? Because I actually love the feeling, because it's almost like I'm checking out.
Yes.
I'm going somewhere else. See you later.
Yes.
It feels really good. It does.
Yes.
So do you find that certain people, like
Yes.
artists, more susceptible?
Well,
or not?
I have a certain suggestibility test
Oh, okay.
that I bring in when I first meet the client. You see, a client can either be analytical or non-analytical.
Yeah.
Okay, and just for information, I think your audience should know this. The analytical person is the person who's always busy, keeps busy. You go to a party, and instead of relaxing with a drink and talking to people, you go straight to where the hostess is and say, "How can I help?"
Oh, okay.
How can I help?
Yeah.
What can I do here? Do you want me to pick up the glasses, that are used? Do you want me to hand out drinks? What do you want me to use? Another example is if you are with your partner and you're going to the beach, and your partner says, "All right, I'll go to the beach," but you're really the non-analytical, and he or she is the analytical.
Yeah.
Well, that person will come to the beach, but will bring the laptop, bring a book
that's me.
to write. You get ideas. I do it too.
Yeah.
I do it too. So I have to keep myself in check. What am I doing? Am I really allowing myself to get engrossed in a movie?
Yeah.
Or am I thinking of what I'm going to do tomorrow?
Yeah, or what you're going to do as soon as it's over.
Exactly. And most of the times, and that's where the mindful meditation comes in, okay?
Yeah.
We need moment-to-moment awareness of what's going on at that particular moment. Deepak Chopra, everybody knows him.
Yes, yes.
The Power of Now.
Right,
It's a beautiful, beautiful book. And I have read it twice or 3 times because I find it fascinating. Then I got into the mindful meditation, which is a centering, a getting acquainted with what's going on at that particular second, whether it'll be the noise outside, whether it is what I'm feeling right now. But you center yourself and you accept. You don't have to change anything, right? That moment. You want to center in, you want to get to know yourself a little better, not judge yourself. And that really is the path to enlightenment. And we all know who was the first, the Buddha.
Yes.
And that's how he found enlightenment. So he has left And the Eastern, cultures have really left for us a great tradition.
It's true. And if you found that a lot of people are starting to embrace that whole Zen thinking, I have a brother that just went completely Buddhist.
Really?
And calls himself a Buddhist. And he's a lot calmer than I am. We're almost like the antithesis of each other, And I have to say, from what I've observed, it has a lot to do with that Zen kind of thinking.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if his
Yes.
brain waves are different than mine.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, what is he in, like a constant trance? What's up with him?
Well, I have to tell you, this is an added piece of information for you. I am also a ballroom dancer. So this is what I do as my hobby. This is what I do as just to get away. And when I get into it, I get into a trance.
Oh, okay.
You see?
Yeah.
So I usually try to do some ballroom dancing on the weekends. And yes, it could get me into a trance. That's how much I am uplifted and taken away from the reality of my thoughts.
It's interesting. As artists, I know that many of us, we get into art, whatever our art is at the moment. I have a number of different disciplines. I know that when I'm writing, when I get to a certain point, it's a trance-like thing.
Right.
It very much so.
Right.
And it happens the same way in dealing with a painting. Sometimes I feel them in a trance.
Yes.
But when I can't get into that trance, I'm struggling.
Yes.
And so I think that it might be interesting, working with someone like you to find how to just walk from here to the easel and get into that trance.
Right.
And stay there.
Exactly.
I imagine some people feel a little guilty about feeling so good. Or do people ever resist the trance?
Oh, yes. Oh yes, there is an underlying resistance, and sometimes I have to be very blunt, and I have to say, when you really are ready to make this change, please come back.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they say that they want to do it, but they don't want to put the work. And I always say to them when they come in, I say, I don't do magic. I work with you, but I don't do magic. And most of the times they will say to me, well, how many sessions? And I said, that really depends on how you progress, how you're working with. And I usually recommend a little bit of a push with at least 2 sessions a week at the beginning.
Right.
And then we can get into the 1 week and then into a maintenance plan.
Right. Because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So you can see I've been there.
Yes, you have.
Yeah,
and you actually know quite a bit about it.
Well, because I had used it, and it was actually presented to me a number of decades ago, I'll say in the early 80s. I went to a therapist that I guess he could see that I would adapt to this very quickly. And I love the feeling of being in a trance. I put myself in a trance at least once a day. Often at night to go to sleep, I'll put myself in that trance. So at least I'm sleeping well and sleeping deeply and sleeping healthfully.
Right.
Which is very important. Now, have you ever used the hypnosis, speaking of health, to help people that are going through some physical
Yes, as a matter of fact.
back problems and things like that?
As a matter of fact, last year I attended the National Association for Hypnotists, which is a widely held conference, and I received my certification in pain management.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge one.
That is a huge one. Very needed.
Yes, especially
Very
with
needed.
aging baby boomers.
Yeah, chiropractics, acupuncture.
Acupuncture I love, yes.
So pain is real.
It is.
It is very real. You have many people that have gone, I have numbers, but I don't have them in my head right now, that go on disability each year. Tremendous amount of people that go on disability because of pain.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but it's a reality. But you can put someone in a trance. I've heard people giving birth and like popping a baby out with no anesthesia because they're on
I've heard of that
hypnosis.
too. I have not done it, but I've heard of it.
But you know, it is doable. It's real.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. If pain can be displaced in the body through trance,
Yeah.
then why not giving birth?
Wow, it's amazing to me.
It is.
You know, because that I've heard, I have not given birth, okay, but I understand that it's not a walk in the park.
No.
But some people, I've heard people that actually like to do it, you know, whatever. They're just having a lot of babies. They enjoy
Yeah, right. I questioned that myself.
it. You know, like, what's up with that? And they just like, oh, there's another one. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, hello. Okay, here goes your brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Or whatever.
They do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some people are also have a higher pain threshold.
That's true too.
Now, I've also heard of people doing hypnosis for dental work.
Oh yes, that's a biggie.
Yeah.
That's a biggie. There is so much trauma in as far as going to the dentist
You
is
think?
concerned.
Yeah.
So much trauma. So you really have to take care of that before the person goes in. You need to really work with the person before.
Yeah.
I don't believe in just going in and saying, okay, now you're going into a trance.
Yeah.
You need to have some prep,
Right.
Maybe before.
Desensitize yourself to those sounds in the dentist's
Exactly,
office.
exactly. Because, all our senses, we have 5 senses, and all our senses are involved in our issues.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Memory is the biggie here.
Right. Okay. I think also I've heard of people going into hypnosis or into a trance because they get on a plane.
Oh, that's also, yeah.
But it's interesting. I want to just get back to because I think you can speak to this, that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis.
Yes, it
Now,
is.
It's in fact true that when you bring somebody into trance, that you're actually teaching them how to bring themselves
Yes,
into the
and
trance.
that's the idea. You want to give them a tool to take home.
Right.
And that is the perfect tool.
Right.
And it usually really follows whatever I do with you. I teach the person how to do by himself or herself.
Right. You probably, I imagine, have clients that you work with on a ongoing basis because they're using this integration that you're doing to really help them to manifest wonderful things in their lives.
Oh, I always have said that it's sad, and I have written this down on my website. It is sad that people in general do not realize how much hypnosis can help them.
Yeah.
We have so many people that are not really living a joyous life.
Yeah, because they haven't accessed the full...
And they can't.
Yeah.
They can't because these issues are standing in the way of them. Then we have depression, then we have anxiety, then we have guilt. So many things that can come up. Phobias is a big one.
Oh my goodness, that's a big one.
The plane is a big one,
Yes.
but there are others. Let me tell you, some individuals, when they go to a social gathering, completely freeze up.
Yeah, social anxiety.
They cannot handle conversations. They cannot handle being within a certain distance.
One-on-one, but being a bashful person that I am, I have, no, not really. I'm so bashful. Oh my goodness. Well, I understand some people are just painfully shy.
Yes.
Yes.
And it has to be overcome. It has to be overcome.
Yeah.
But there is a very interesting field that's called neuro-linguistic programming.
We were just talking about that before. Here.
Oh, I love it. I'm very passionate about that.
Yeah.
And I also use that in the hypnosis.
Yeah. I just want to share this with you because I shared it with the crew before you came. I used to be in sales,
Right.
selling a non-tangible, okay? And you had to actually kind of convince people that they want this and convince them I'm selling you some numbers.
Right.
And it's going to be good, it's going to be good for your
Right.
business, all this. And I remember taking courses in neuro-linguistic selling and little simple things like, if I were to cross my legs this way and lean into you like that,
Yes.
And if the client does the same thing, then you know they're still with you. It's a little more complex with
Yes,
that.
of course it is.
And I kind of stopped doing it because I would see that it was easy as a person that doesn't do hypnosis, that you could actually kind of get people
You do.
into a trance.
You do.
And it's like, wow. And all of a sudden they're spending like $5,000. What?
Yes.
You know, what's my commission on that one? And I felt a little, I felt manipulative with it.
Yes,
but
yes.
as you know, people only do what they would be inclined to do. They don't do things that they won't want to do.
No.
So you can tell the audience that you can't convince somebody to fly off the building like a bird.
And not only that, but you know, I do not do, and this is another thing that I clarify on my website, and with whomever I speak to, I do not do stage hypnosis.
Right, you're
I
not-
do
right.
Ericksonian hypnosis.
What's it called?
Ericksonian.
Ericksonian.
Yes, and
Okay.
Milton Erickson was a terrific, very artful kind of hypnotist, and from him came Ericksonian hypnosis. Now, that means people have this idea, and it's really a misconception that hypnosis, when you are in a trance, you lose control. Well, you don't lose control.
Right.
You can, at any point, stop what you're doing, but do you really want to? You're not jumping, you're not acting like an animal, you know, you're not doing crazy things.
Yes.
You know, you're just letting your imagination take over so that you can be helped.
And you're actually tapping into your own personal subconscious. And we could go on about Dr. Mesmer. I know about Dr. Mesmer as well. Is he the father of hypnosis? And yeah, it's a very fascinating field. And I think that when people understand how to tap into their subconscious, you can manifest a lot of things.
You can manifest and change.
That's manifest change. You can make things happen spontaneously, even when you didn't expect it to.
Exactly. And sometimes, you know, the answer comes right there, and sometimes it comes three days later.
True.
Or
That's
a
right.
week later.
Yes, it's true. Sometimes
This is how it works.
And sometimes it can be immediate. Depends on the person.
Yeah. Not that long ago, as a matter of fact, it was 2 days ago, I gave a presentation at NYU University about the benefits of hypnosis as an intervention for trauma and other kinds of things, you know, family constellations, family dynamic.
Yes.
What does it mean when someone is future-oriented, present-oriented? How does that clash?
Right.
And
there's-
create friction in the family.
Right. And it's just so, it's very complex. And I love the field, you know. I love studying it. I love talking to you about it. I wish you could come back.
I will be happy. I hope I don't get lost this time.
No, this time you know your way here. Everything's
Oh.
good. You know, but we could go on about this. It's a very fascinating thing, and I think from talking to you, I can see that some people are probably better at it than others.
Yes, yes.
It's not necessarily the hocus pocus that it's cracked up to be.
And you need to have a good fountain of tools. You just don't go with the hypnosis. You go with so many other fields.
many other
I take from here, I take from there.
That's right, and you give at the same time. But thank you so much for getting
I
here.
have enjoyed it because, you know, I'm very passionate about it.
I see.
And I love to find out about it and read and do it.
Yeah, because it's an ongoing process and it's there. We're living in the moment. We're in the present. We're not in the past. We're not in the future.
Yeah.
We're right here,
it's
right
right
now.
here. This is what it's all about.
This is what it's all about. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
I'll be happy to come back.
Oh, I would be happy to have you because this is my topic. And I thank you so much.
I can see that you're into it as well.
I am very much into it. And I thank you guys for coming to the show. And, you know, I won't put you into a trance right now, but maybe next time. Thanks for coming to the show. And, you know, look up Dr. Uranga. Okay, I found her on LinkedIn. And your website is?
Hypnosis and Life Coaching of Westchester.
Hypnosis and Life Coaching of Westchester.com.
Right.
You learn what it's all about. Read all about it. And I'll see you next time on Talk with TQ. Thank you. Bye.